Hey everyone, I'm Black Lightning. This is my top 5 list of annoying logical fallacies. A fallacy is an incorrect argument in logic and rhetoric, which weakens an argument's logical soundness. These fallacies are very annoying when you come across them. Usually the person making them have no idea that they are committing them. They've been conditioned to rely on these fallacies. I'm going to talk about the fallacies I've come across. There's a big list of fallacies, but I've only encountered a few. This is definitely my subjective list, so let's begin. Number 5 is ad hominem. Basically, you attack the arguer instead of addressing their argument. A lot of people think all insults are ad hominem attacks, so I want to tell you the difference. If you call someone some derogatory name as a way to dismiss their argument, that's an ad hominem. If someone addresses your argument and then calls you an idiot for believing it, that's not an ad hominem. This one is really annoying because the person can dismiss your argument by insulting you. Those who don't think critically will take those insults as valid reasons as to why you shouldn't listen to the opposing viewpoint, not even considering the soundness of one's argument. It's annoying, but I trust people to be aware of this, which is why it's number 5. Number 4 is appeal to tradition. The only support for the conclusion is that it's been held to be true for a long time. This one is highly annoying because it's hard to reason with someone who relies on this. For example, I encounter this when it comes to religion and clothing people should wear. I'll start with religion first. A few Christians I encounter say that Christianity has been around for years, so there has to be some truth to it. Technically, there's nothing wrong with that because the Bible can provide historical context to the mindset of the people during the era it was written. In that sense, there is some truth to it. What is usually implied is that since people believe the Christian God of the Bible was real for a long time, that means the Christian God of the Bible is real. The other time I encounter appeal to tradition is when someone gives me reasons why men and women should wear certain clothing because it's tradition for men to wear pants and women to wear dresses. I'm not talking about full-time transgendered people, just men and women who occasionally want to cross-dress. The people who oppose this appeal to tradition by saying men and women should wear quote-unquote clothing that fits their gender because most men and women have been wearing gender-specific clothing for a long time, and it's wrong to cross-dress. Appealing to tradition is not logically sound because there's other long-held beliefs that have been discontinued. The belief that the earth is flat has been around for a long time. Slavery has been around for a long time, and women in third-world societies have been treated as second-class citizens for a long time. According to this logic, all of these things should be considered to be true and or still be practiced to this very day. Number 3 is appeal to emotion. An argument is made due to the manipulation of emotions rather than the use of valid reasoning. There's plenty of sub-fallacies under appeal to emotion. For example, appeal to fear, flattery, and pity. It's very easy to commit this fallacy. Appealing to one's emotions is a great way to manipulate people to sway them over to your side. I encounter appealing to fear when I encounter conspiracy theorists. They usually appeal to fear to hook you in. It has a very believable premise. Most of us don't trust our government in America. So it's easy to make a conspiracy theory about 9/11 being an inside job, Big Pharma keeping their patients sick to make more money, population control, and the Illuminati. When I encounter appealing to pity, it's usually from certain right and left-wing minded people in the political spectrum. An example from the right would be Kim Davis. She refused to give a marriage license to a same-sex couple even though same-sex marriage is legal. She appealed to pity when she said she was just following her Bible. Someone who's just practicing their faith shouldn't be sent to jail. She shouldn't have been sent to jail. Fired, yes. Sent to jail, no. An example from the left would be those who feel the need to force others to agree with them, either by pressuring someone to get fired from their job or censoring other people's criticism for saying something that isn't quote-unquote progressive. They justify it by saying that what a certain person said or did was offensive to a group of people who happen to be in the minority. You have offended this group of people. Think about how they would feel. You can expect this from the hyper-politically correct crowd. Of course, I can empathize with other people when someone is actively discriminating against them. It's very messed up. But most of this censorship and job compromises is directed towards people who just happen to disagree with their position, or directed towards someone who just don't like them because of the person's race, gender, or sexual orientation. So certain people from the left will appeal to pity to justify their terrible actions. I do believe these people's hearts are in the right place, but they're going about things the wrong way. I don't care how bigoted a person is. No one should force them to lose their jobs for discrimination unless they have a legal obligation to serve everyone. Also, everyone has the right to hold any opinion and believe what they want to believe, as long as they aren't hurting anyone in America. That is why I don't censor people even if they happen to disagree with me. Appealing to emotion is annoying. It's highly manipulative and allows people to get away with terrible actions by manipulating other people's emotions. The next two was hard to give a number to because I find them both to be on the same level of annoyance. Number 2 is red herring. It's when an argument is given as a response to another argument that has nothing to do with the subject at hand. I only encountered this from Christians in real life. This one example is funny now, but it was annoying back when it happened. I was in a church years ago that only celebrated the Sabbath on Saturdays instead of Sunday. Since everyone there was against interracial marriage, a question was asked about where in the Bible does it say a black person shouldn't marry a white person. I'm not sure if the person would call theirself a pastor because they operate differently than in Sunday churches. So the teacher starts reading random Bible verses that have nothing to do with the question at all. I can't remember the verses because it was a few years ago. After it was over, the person who asked the question just had a look of dissatisfaction. And the teacher had the nerve to ask if the person had any more questions. Around that time, I was in my transition into atheism, and I thought it was odd that the person who studied the Bible dodged the question. That's not a reason to be an atheist, it's just evidence that this person in particular don't know much about the Bible they stand behind. When I hear people commit red herrings, it's so annoying. I sit there thinking, you didn't address the arguments at all. I think it's the person's way of changing the subject when they don't have a rebuttal or don't know much about the current subject that's being discussed. Here are some honorable mentions. Appeal to nature. Your judgment being based on whether the subject of judgment is natural or unnatural. I usually see this when someone is talking about homosexual people. Tu quoque, which means you too. The argument states that a certain position is wrong or should be disregarded because the person making the argument contradicts their position with their actions. For example, a smoker tells you to never smoke cigarettes because they are bad for you, but you say, you're smoking cigarettes, so why should I listen to you? The reason why that's a fallacy is because it doesn't matter if the person is contradicting their position. It doesn't mean that the argument that the person is making is suddenly less valid. Smoking cigarettes is bad for you no matter who's telling you that. Number 1 is straw man fallacy. An argument based on the misrepresentation of an opponent's position. Nothing annoys me more than someone not understanding my position and then base their arguments on that misunderstanding. This only happened to me in real life. I don't think anyone online strawmanned my arguments. I always wonder why people make that distinction between real life and online. Does that imply online is fake in some way? Anyways, I digress. I don't think everyone who commits a straw man fallacy does it intentionally. I believe sometimes it happens because of the person filtering what you're saying through their perspective. If you say you're an atheist, then a Christian will ask, why do you hate God? This person most likely have a preconceived notion of what an atheist is. Even though you never said you hate God, in their mind, that's what an atheist do. If you correct the person by saying you don't hate God and they still insist that you do, that's when it gets annoying. Please try to avoid these. They don't add anything to your position at all and makes your position weaker than the position you disagree with. Anyways, the secret video has been uploaded and will be released on December 7th if you're not able to find it. I'll be back next month. Thanks for watching and take care.